I grew up in Missouri City, Texas. Right down the street from here in Lake Olympia. I went to Elkins High School. My parents are both attorneys. My father, who passed away in 2021, he worked for the U.S. Attorney's Office for 40 years. Growing up, we did not really talk about what I would do. It wasn't discussed much, but achievement was definitely always an expectation in my home growing up. There was no excuse. You were going to go to college, you were going to get good grades, you were going to get high scores and graduate at the top of the class. No one ever sat me down and said, you need to become this, you need to become that. But watching everyone else do it and seeing them be successful and looking at their lives and their houses and wow, this must really make them happy, I said to myself, well, I'm gonna do the same thing. I majored in radio, television, and minored in Spanish and graduated at the top. Very few people from my graduating class were making it on air. I did. And back here, my dad was playing my reels for his coworkers, his colleagues, the attorneys at the office, like, look at her, look at my daughter. And I guess I didn't realize how much of an impact wanting to be successful had on me. It's just something that crept up, almost like a fungus, You don't really know it's there until you wake up one day and you're like, whoa, why am I doing all of this? And my true conversion experience, without a doubt, probably happened somewhere in October of 2016. Around that time, I was working for a high-power probate litigation firm that made a lot of money. My friend group at that time consisted of people who were successful people, but some of their lives were in shambles. A lot of us kind of bought into the prosperity gospel, I guess you could say. We kind of went to church and kind of worshiped a God that it was going to just kind of fulfill all of our dreams and make all of our goals a reality. Because what else are you supposed to believe when you're unconverted? And I remember getting together at our last house and having everybody in one room. And I remember at the end of the night, kind of standing in my kitchen and looking at all these people and feeling totally empty. I remember saying something to myself like, I don't have anything in common with any of these people. And so I don't really know when this happened, but at some point I realized that this lifestyle was extremely offensive to God. When I was coming to Christ, in the process of coming to Christ, I wasn't super overwhelmed with my sin, but with the dissatisfaction of pursuing happiness other places. So I remember asking him on my knees, and I said, Lord, nothing is working. Nothing is satisfying me. I don't know where to go from here. What is this life about? I don't get it. I don't get it. I was driving this navy blue Lexus at the time, and I hooked my phone up to it with Bluetooth, and I just start listening to apologetics, Christian apologetics, like obsessed with them. Through that revelation, God showed me that the resurrection did happen, that Jesus was a real person and was also God. And I understood those concepts. I just didn't know how that relates to me. One day, one of those apologetics videos, you know how YouTube rolls over to the next video? Rolls over to this very convicting video. Okay, so it moves out of the realm of the existence of Christ and his deity to Matthew chapter 7. There's a woman talking and she says, many people believe themselves to be Christians, and on that day they're gonna say, Lord, Lord, didn't we go to church and do all of these things, and we were active in ministry? And he'll say, depart from me, I never knew you. And then she talked about this narrow way that leads to life that's hard. It's difficult. You're going to go through tribulations and trials, and you've got to drop all your idols and your achievements. God will help you do it, but it'll be difficult, And I said, that's it. That's what I want. That's what I need. And I am definitely one of these Christians on the broad road right now. I remember going to bed that night, and this overwhelming sense of separation from God came over me. He communicated to my spirit that I am separated from him. Then I began to weep, over my sins and over my pursuing things other than him. And as I looked up to God through the window, through the little, I call it the slat, in the window. I just asked him, if there's any way that I can make up for pursuing other things other than you and for sinning this long. And so I fell asleep, woke up, totally different affections, totally in love with the Lord. Cursing stopped, drinking stopped. My circle of friends sloughed off, as they saw me changing into the image of Christ and becoming more like him. And so I floated on that cloud for about a month. Then I had to actually get into the Bible and learn about the new birth and Christ's sufficiency and all of those things that I didn't know. So that was a heavy time for me. And I've been walking with him ever since. And every day he gets sweeter. And I realize how much more I need him every day. I'm still a work in progress. It isn't as if the temptation is not still there. It is not as if I don't need to fight this thing. So whatever that is for you, just know that God is greater, and he will show you that he's greater. Whether it's you idolize being a stay-at-home mom, or you idolize being the best baker or the best accountant or the best lawyer or whatever it is, he's greater. I've tried it all. I've been all around the country. I've done a lot of different things professionally, and I've achieved a lot, and nothing is greater than God. He is the foundation of our ultimate satisfaction and our ultimate joy. And that's why Jesus says in the Gospels, don't build your house on sand, but build it on the rock that is him. So he's greater.